Hi guys, my name's Doug. Welcome to Third Style Garage. This is an episode about the restoration of a 66 Mustang convertible named Vin. I think this is episode number 30. They rack up fast, much faster than the project goes. And I am working on the underside of the car. I think this will be part 4 of welding up the underside. And I need to chat about a few things before I get into what I'm working on today. First of all, I have the day off. I work for an organization. It's a Christian summer youth camp that honors Good Friday by giving us the day off. So I'm thankful for that. So for those of you out there that I wish you a blessed Good Friday and Easter celebration. So today I hope to spend part of the day working on the car and part of the day celebrating that. Also, you notice, check this out, looking official with the Third Style logo and my name in case I forget it. A good friend of mine, Dale, blessed me with this gift, which is kind of cool, and he's got one too, which you'll see in the future, because this coming fall, so fall of 2022, he has a beautiful 66 convertible Volkswagen Beetle that needs the front clip and the rear clip removed and reattached because they were installed incorrectly by a previous owner. So stay tuned. This fall you'll start seeing a series on some fun work on a 66 convertible Volkswagen Beetle. Might slow down the work on the 66 convertible. I don't know, we've got a 66 theme going on, which is kind of fun. But Dale's a great friend of mine, and we're going to be working on his car together. 2 weeks ago, I posted an episode or a video that was help needed because I have some really funky spots, things going on. How's this go? There, right along that area on this car, on the lower side too. And you guys are amazingly helpful. I got a bunch of emails with pictures from people of what the underside of their car looked like, with suggestions about how to repair this. Everywhere from, patching, which is probably the route I'm gonna pursue, to, hey, if you're this far, just replace the whole body pan, floor pan, which seems incredibly daunting to me to take it down that far. And if I was going for a concourse restoration, obviously I would do that. I think what I'm choosing to do instead is I want it to be watertight, strong, and look decent. And then it will be sealed up. So today I'm gonna dive back into the repairs of this, which you'll see. But I do want to say thanks so much for those of you that responded to the last video and were very helpful with your comments, posting the comments below or sending me emails, thirdstylegarage@gmail.com. I really appreciate it. The last thing I want to mention is my work life is real cyclical throughout the year. So I work at a summer youth camp, I mentioned, an outdoor education center. It's Camp Roger. You'll see me, I wear the sweatshirts all the time. And spring and summer is my busiest time. I actually move on site and live there for the summer, come back occasionally throughout the season. But so you may see a few less postings from me as life gets busier, and then fall's busy with a lot of school outdoor education work, and then winter slows down. So I tend to have more time to work on the project in the fall, winter time, as opposed to spring and summer. Let's get through the intro and then I'll show you what I'm working on today. Thanks for being part of Third Style Garage. Here's the underside of the car. This would be the driver's side, underside. And here's what I'm going to work on today. I want to clean up these joints. You can see there's remnants of whatever it is that the previous owner squeezed in there that's going to prevent me from being able to weld this joint up. And what I hope to do today is to solidly weld these all nice and tight shut on the top and on the bottom. And I gotta figure out what to do in these areas yet. What I'm gonna try to do is, and I've started here, is to cut these welds out and see if I can pull this joint open, clean out that liquid nail or seam sealer or whatever it is, pound it back down, and then weld it tight and do the same thing on this side as well. So that's my job for today. Get this area done and this area done. My next job is probably gonna be to focus on fixing this area through here, and here and here. And the same thing on the lower side. That'll probably be a bigger task, but I'll be working on that next. And then the final one, as far as I know now, will be to do a frame repair here. So let's dive into this and get to work. I think this is going pretty well. You can see I've got a small gap in there. There we go. Small gap in there all the way around. Down that way. On this side too. All the way across. So I think my next step is I'm gonna take a fairly aggressive wire wheel and just try to get in there and clean all of that out so I got good bare steel. Then I will tap it down and weld it together. I thought about, you know, I can't get in too far because what I learned is that this is a patch and this is a patch. These two patches are butt welded together in the middle. And then, so these three pieces all come together right in the middle. Sorry, hopefully that was on screen. I tend to look at here instead of looking at the camera. So I thought about, you know, I could remove this, but then the patches diverge here. I don't think there's any way to get any good. There'll be a little bit of bare steel in there, but it should be pretty encapsulated. So I don't think any oxygen will get in there for it to rust. So I'm gonna clean these edges up, tap them down, and then weld them shut. I'll show you how it goes. There's the top wrapped up. Similar process to the bottom. The bottom wrapped up, cleaned up, welded up all the way around, and feels tight and secure now. Now I'm gonna move on to the patch that somebody did to the frame. Looks like there's a patch that was on the top, a small patch on the bottom. Inside, if the car were sitting level, this would be the inside of the frame, the bottom or back of the frame, and there's a similar patch on the bottom. And then I'm gonna pull that patch off and just see what I learn. All right, so I'm starting to remove this patch. I ground it down flush around the edges and then use my angle grinder this way to cut these two edges. I'm gonna start to see what's underneath it. I don't know if they just covered up a rust hole or... Looks like I got a little more to grind off. What the world? Looks like maybe this was a new piece. This was an old piece. And they're patching the two together very poorly. Time to keep going. See what we can find when we cut out the bottom. All right, I'm gonna keep cutting. I'll let you know what I find. A little farther. A couple things I've noticed. One is there's a ton of sand in there. I can feel it if I reach inside the holes in the bottom of the frame rail. The other thing that's interesting is I did not expect the shape of that. I thought it was a simple U channel. But that may be a brace that was put in there. But this is the original. And this was a brace piece. I don't know. We're gonna keep going. Definitely gotta get that sand out of there. Okay, I've got it apart and cleaned up. Things always look better once you clean them up. That little U-shaped piece that was in there was just a little tab that bent down and around, and once I touched it with my finger, it broke off. But I can see where this piece of channel kind of went inside this piece of channel. They welded the edge there. Same thing on the bottom down here. And then just put a thin patch over it. So I will cut a piece, fill that in, probably grind this weld out, re-weld that, same thing on the bottom, and fit a piece around here. And sorry, foot crimp. Make sure that it's welded in well, ground down smooth, and of appropriate thickness. I still think that this screw is like the master screw for the whole car, and if I take that out, I think the whole thing will just turn to dust and fall apart. And so I'm debating about seriously just leaving that in for fun. Looks like they had another screw there. I'm guessing they used it to hold sheet metal in place while they were putting things together. But once things are cleaned up, they look a little bit better. Sand's out of there. So keep working on it. Here's the first gusset in place. Put a couple magnets underneath just to hold it flush on the bottom. Second one that I'll use on the top here. I'll get those welded in, and then we'll fabricate a piece for the outside. Cap is in, welded all the way around. Now I just gotta grind and clean it up. Tell you what, the hardest part of this whole thing was welding on the bottom side, welding up, which makes me so thankful for this tip over jig. Can't imagine working on the whole underside of the car on my back. That would stink. All right, let's clean it up. All right. I think I'm gonna call this done. It is what it is. I give myself one thumbs up. It would be nice if when I was done, you couldn't tell that it was repaired, but you can definitely see that there's a joint there where this goes underneath that piece. I did re-weld that up and then welded the two together there. Because of that overlap, there's a little bit of a ridge here, and then all of this smooths out. This is fairly smooth. The underside looks pretty similar. Obviously, I've got a huge mess along here to deal with yet. It also, if you're getting really picky, you notice that this is a radius and then it goes flat and then it curves again. It's a little more noticeable than I thought, but I feel okay with that. It's a dangerous question to ask, but I'm curious, as you saw me repair it and how I repaired it, would you feel comfortable with that? Would you do it that way? Would you do it differently? Just curious to hear what your reactions are. But I think that gets me most of the way to the bottom of the floor pan, except for this gap, or these gaps up here, and then this mess down here, which will probably be the next video, and hopefully the bottom or the end of the working on the floor pan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting subscribe. Leave a comment below, and stay tuned for the next video. Have a great day. Happy Easter, everybody.